Hello and welcome to Let's Play Pac-Man World Re-Pac. So yes, this is the remastered version of Pac-Man World, which was originally released on the PlayStation and was recently ported to the newer generation consoles, so the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and of course the Nintendo Switch. What better game to Let's Play than this game, of course, in celebration of the recent announcement of Pac-Man World 2 Re-Pac, which was officially announced through Nintendo Direct, and I figured this was a perfect game to go ahead and take on next. Now, to quickly recap what we just saw in that intro scene, basically the main story of the game is Pac-Man has lost his friends and family, who were basically taken captive by Pac-Man, the main antagonist of the game and the leader of the ghosts. And he's basically come to crash the party and ruin Pac-Man's life. But enough of me talking and interrupting this next scene. We'll go ahead and allow this to play out and just enjoy the Banjo-Kazooie type of dialogue that we're going to get throughout the cutscenes here. Now that the introductory cutscenes have finished, it is time to jump right into this first, basically tutorial type of level. Of course, there's going to be several different levels we will be completing throughout the game, but this one is basically going to spoon feed you all the information that you are going to need to know in terms of collectibles, rewards, and essentially how the game operates in general. Now, to start things off, as you can see, we picked up a power pellet, which basically gives Pac-Man the ability to devour all of the ghosts that are in sight. And there's going to be various ghost areas where This one's kind of given to us right off the bat, but later on we will find various switches that Pac-Man will be able to activate, and it'll basically let you open up a power pellet as well as several pack dots. As you see these little smaller yellow dots around the area, we're going to collect those as well, but the main objective is to, of course, devour the ghosts, just like typical original Pac-Man style. Now, this game does require you to do quite a bit in order to 100% the game. So I'm not sure if I'm going to tackle that completely, but I do want to kind of talk about what that entails. So basically, in order to 100% Pac-Man World Re-Pac, what you have to do is basically collect every single collectible that there is to collect in each different level. Now, you will be given a variety of fruit that you are required to find in order to open up various doors that are basically only open up with a specific fruit, and you can't open the door, of course, unless you find that fruit in various treasure chests. They may be just laying around and somewhere in the level, or you may have to do a little bit of exploration in order to kind of search around and find them. Fruit is not the only thing that you are going to be needing to collect in order to 100% the game. You are also required to collect all of the pack dots, as well as completing all of the different mazes in each of the level. And every level is going to have a maze, and again, you will need a specific fruit in order to unlock the door that allows you to complete said maze. Now, this game, like I said, there is a lot to it in order to 100% the game. So I'm not sure if I'm going to kind of focus on doing that, because there's also a few other things you have to do as well, such as defeating every single enemy in your path, and of course this includes all of the bosses, which we will kind of talk about once we get to those. But you also have to achieve a specific score, and I'm actually not too big on this, and I know most games usually don't really require you to hit a certain score. Of course, being Pac-Man, originally was an arcade game, as we all know and love. It was very score-based back in the day, so it only makes sense for the first 3D platformer version of Pac-Man to have a score requirement in order to, fully 100% it. That score is 765,000. So as you can see, we're only at 4,600. You can see the high score is actually given to you at the very top right of the screen, but I'm not really going to focus too much on that. We'll do the best that we can to get as close to that number as possible, but like I said, it is pretty challenging, and you really have to just really complete everything almost to perfection in order to get to that score, or at least close to it. I've gotten pretty close, but I've actually never, I don't believe ever have gotten that total number score, and I've never actually fully 100% the game or 100% of the game. I've gotten close, like 90% or something like that, but again, it's pretty challenging, so we're not going to really focus too much on doing that. As you can see back there, we collected a medal ability that's kind of similar to if you played Super Mario 64, where you have the metal cap, allowing Mario to basically walk underneath water and basically gain a lot more weight when it comes to being able to maybe hit switches or break various objects that are located underwater. That's going to be useful in this game as well, and we'll see a lot more of those metal ball or metal pack dots, whatever you call them, I guess officially, as the game progresses. These little things here are basically going to allow us to travel from one platform to the next that are pretty wide. They have pretty wide gaps in between them, so we are basically able to do the rev roll ability, which basically gives us the ability to use Pac-Man's running speed to accelerate from one platform to the next. And you will be bouncing back and forth between platforms at times, like you see here. And these switches that have numbers on them, basically that means that if you hit the number 1 switch, that will cause something to happen over at another switch, and then you have to continuously hit the switches in their numerical order. It's kind of just basically allowing us to get from point A to point B, as this is, really just a tutorial level. Now, as you can see, there is a door right here, but it looks like we are in need of an apple, which is given to us right there, very conveniently. in order to open that. So like I said, specific fruits will be needed in order to open up specific doors. So as you can see, we have now really got to the end of the stage here. Each end of the stage is going to be marked with a Pac-Man statue. Pac-Man's of course the main final boss of the game and the main antagonist. Once you break open the statue, you will see the end of the level right here. And as you can see, we have finally cleared the first tutorial level. Now, this is where the high score really comes into play. So, at the end of each level, we are given a slot bonus game, as you can see right here. And based on the number of medals that you collect in every level, that will give you an opportunity to basically play the slot machine. Ideally, you want to get like the it kind of has like a little bit of a directory at the right, so you want to aim for those fruits on the right hand side to get your 3-ups. I usually get at least like the 2-ups. They're really not that hard to get. The first few levels it'll be kind of easy, and then it gets a little bit more difficult to kind of match up the fruits later on. I've always found this is probably not one of my favorite parts of the game, but it is very necessary if you are, again, looking to get a higher score, to get kind of closer to that 100% criteria. We didn't really do, a great job on this one, but we have plenty more slot machine games to do coming up later on, so I'm not really too worried about it. But that will increase our score. So as you can see, all of your fruit that you collect throughout the levels will give you a fruit bonus, in addition to the bonus that you get for playing this little slot machine, and that will of course bring your score up even higher, allowing you to just increase that number. So very nice indeed. We've already hit 12,000, so we're off to a pretty decent start, I would say. And now it's time to head back to the main hub area, which is called Ghost Island. And we have unlocked the next episode, which is the next level, Corsair's Cove. And so that's pretty much all there is. As you can see, if you go back into the level you just completed, you will kind of get a little bit of a rundown. That was a tutorial level, so there's not really a lot of stats with that level, but once you go through other levels and then go back into the stats, you'll kind of see what you missed and what you had, collected and things like that. Over there was a kind of like a little cutscene movie gallery where you can go back and watch every single cutscene in the game, actually. So if you're interested in watching those back, that's there for you. I don't really care too much about it, so we're going to move right along. And as you can see, we have many different levels in this first section to complete. But now we're going to go ahead and continue things off with 1-2 Corsair's Cove. So I do like how each level is kind of categorized as episodes. Very convenient because I actually categorize my Let's Play parts as episodes as well. So that's kind of nice. I won't be doing one level per episode. I'll probably be doing at least 2, depending on maybe later on if they're like they get a little bit longer. Each level I might do 1 per episode, just depending on how long it takes, but we'll try to get at least 2 or 3 in per episode for my current Let's Play series. As you can see, we are jumping right back in. And yeah, I didn't really talk a lot about the letters, so very similar fashion to if you've played the Donkey Kong Country series, you will actually be given various letters to spell out the name Pac-Man. So of course that is required to get, you are required to get all of the letters in each different level to 100% the game. I am going to do that. It's actually not that hard to find them all unless you get maybe towards like the end of the game, like the last couple of levels. There is a lot of backtracking that is kind of required in order to go back and find every single letter, but for the most part they're pretty straightforward. Some of them are given right to you in plain sight. Some you have to do a little bit of searching around for. Some are hidden in chests, behind various objects, or behind different doors that you need specific fruits for. So we're gonna go ahead and do the best we can, but that is one thing I am for sure going to do, is collect every single letter, spelling out Pac-Man in every single level. So not too difficult. As you can see, we are now utilizing this little door mechanic. So essentially, if we hit that switch down there, that little orange switch that has like looks like a little spinning arrow type thing on it, that'll allow us to open up these doors, allowing us to actually elevate ourselves up to another floor, which of course has a bunch of other collectibles that we'll need to find as well. And these are of course the Pac-Man medals that you will need to gather in order to basically be given more time on the slot machine game. Those aren't really something I'm going to go out of my way to get if they're not in plain sight, but if they're there, I'm gonna I might as well collect them. But now we have another metal pack dot here that we're going to go ahead and utilize. So that way we can walk underneath the water and we can actually get up here, which I mean, we could do that before just by swimming up. But this is actually, there's actually no chest under here, but really the main mechanic with the metal pack dot is you just want to make sure that if there are any treasure chests underwater, you want to make sure that you use that to be able to, of course, do your bounce attack on the chest to break them open, because they could have important collectibles like fruits or Pac-Man letters inside of them. And you are on a little bit of a timer when you activate the metal ability, because of course it's not going to last forever. So you definitely want to utilize as much of your time, take advantage of the time that you have as the metal Pac-Man, to be able to collect all of those as well. But yeah, that's pretty much really the main overview of the game as far as all the collectibles go and the main mechanics. So I'll kind of talk more about it as we kind of progress on. But like I said, it's a pretty straightforward game. And this game, I think I've already kind of touched on this a little bit, but want to kind of talk about more of, is of course the very first 3D platformer in the Pac-Man series. So this game was huge back in, I think it was 1999 when this was released. I never owned a PlayStation 1, so I never played this game when it first came out. I actually never started playing until the remastered version was released. But I've seen others play this game on YouTube and on online, and was very, very excited to play the game for myself. I did play there's actually a Game Boy Advance version of this game. I actually did a Let's Play of on another channel of mine when I was much younger and, much more inexperienced on doing Let's Plays or just YouTube videos in general. And I have to say, that port specifically, the Game Boy Advance version, is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. It was the only version I could get my hands on at the time. I didn't own a PS1. I did own a Game Boy Advance, of course, like most others did. So I was not able to play the original PlayStation version, but my gosh, I have to say, the Game Boy Advance port is just awful, man. Like, I hate to hate on anything related to this game, but it's just, the game itself is fine, but it's just, it didn't really go over well when it was ported to the Game Boy Advance. So I think that was kind of funny. The music in this game is outstanding. I love the soundtrack in this game. I have to say, it's one of my favorite parts of the game. But the Game Boy Advance port, I don't know, it did this thing where, like, it took one specific, like, level music and just kind of went with it throughout the whole game. Like, I'm pretty sure every level was like the same music, and I didn't like that at all. I think maybe there's a couple different levels that have different music, but yeah, there's just a lot of problems with the Game Boy Advance port. And I don't know if anyone that's played the Game Boy Advance port, or anyone that's tried to play it, but I'm sure you'll agree if you have played it. But now we're going to actually open up the first maze door. So this is going to be the first maze of the game that we're going to go ahead and complete. Like I said, every level, with the exception of that first tutorial level, is going to have a maze that we're going to need to do. So this is a requirement in order to 100% the game. Even though I'm not really crazy on getting the 765,000 total high score, I am going to complete every single maze in every level. So for the most part, the mazes are pretty simple and they're pretty enjoyable to play. You kind of go into this little 2D, kind of original, like, Pac-Man style 2D little section here. Of course, I got clobbered by that ghost there. Where you have to basically collect all of the pack dots, and then you essentially clear the maze. They do give you power pellets on each corner of the maze, but getting to them can be a chore if you're surrounded by all these ghosts. They can get in your way, or if you just simply don't take the right route or the right turn or something like that. But for the most part, they're pretty easy to complete. They do give you a few different chances. So I think they give you like 2 or 3 attempts. So it is very forgiving, especially if you do mess up like I did, already. But as you can see, we've already cleared it. Not too much to say about that. You just have to get all of the pack dots and just try not to die from the ghost. But again, you're given multiple time, a few different chances to do that. So again, not anything too complicated. Like I said, every different level is going to have one of those mazes. I think there's a couple that actually have more than one maze later on, but we'll kind of get to that once we kind of talk about that once we get there. But now we're going to go ahead and continue to utilize the door mechanic here. I don't know why I'm calling it the door mechanic. We're just going in a door. Okay, so I actually wanted to go up this way because I did forget the letter M. As you can see, we got the A, second A, but not the M. It's actually located right up here. I missed it for some reason. I don't know why. I was getting distracted or something like that. I'm not sure. I get distracted very easily, so I'm sure you could tell that by maybe some of my previous Let's Plays or previous videos, but I just kind of have this like thing where I get talking about something and then I forget what I'm doing in the game, and it's a mess sometimes. But anyways, we are now going to maneuver this little, navigate around these little cannonballs being fired at us. And if you could not tell, we'll go and grab that N up there. That one's kind of tricky to get if you break that barrel and don't get up there. But we have collected all the letters now. But getting back to what I was saying is, if you couldn't tell by now, this first world, I guess if you want to call it, the first world, World 1 is more pirate themed. So you'll be seeing, that's going to be kind of a common occurrence in every different world. As you see, we picked up a key there, and I'll kind of talk about that once we are able to use that at the end of this level. I think it's the end of this level or the next one, I can't remember. But anyways, like I was saying, getting off topic already, each different world is going to be centered around a single theme. So this theme is kind of like a pirate theme, or kind of like I guess like a pirate island type theme. And I have to say, I do like that. And I know, a lot of games, especially 3D platformers, kind of do this, or, as well, kind of like, Banjo-Kazooie. Each world has like a certain theme of it. There's like an ice world, there's a lava world, there's a swamp world, things of that nature. Of course, most of the 3D Mario platformers do the same thing as well. But I like that they kind of follow suit with that in Pac-Man World, and it really brings a lot of life to the game. And it feels like you're really kind of going through and traveling across like this completely, fictional universe where you're going from basically from island to island, or city to city, or area to area, and it just feels very diverse in the different types of worlds that you'll kind of, you'll kind of come across, in the game. Later on we have the next world coming up is actually more like an Indiana Jones styled world, which I love, and I think that's something that a lot of games don't really do a lot of, kind of like a treasure island, kind of getting Indiana Jones type style. But there's a clown world, there's a freaking an entire world that's like a haunted world, which is actually I think the final world of the game. So it gets very definitely a variety of themes that you will come across in the game, which I like as well. But enough rambling on about all this silly stuff. We're going to focus our attention on getting all these fruits. And as you can see, this is actually another bonus stage. So these stages are again required to 100% the game. You do have to finish, I think, all these bonus stages. If I'm not mistaken, I think you have to at least do one in each world. So if we mess up this one and we have one in the next level and we get that one, I think that still counts as 100%. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, anyone that knows a lot more about this than I do. But from my understanding, I think they're not as picky on these bonus stages. The mazes, you have to complete every single one in every level. But these, I think you just have to clear at least one in every world, but I could be wrong. These are a little bit more harder, especially this underwater one. This is probably my least favorite one, but as the levels go on, you'll kind of be in, they'll kind of be switching it up with the different environments coming up. But now we are back into the slot machine game, so we'll go ahead and take a stab at this. All right, so I didn't want to go ahead and bore anybody that has seen this already. We've already showed it off in the first tutorial level, so I figured it doesn't really need to be shown again. I'll probably cut these out moving forward in future levels. But we went ahead and increased our high score, and we are now traveling back to Ghost Island. And we have now unlocked the Crazy Cannonade episodes. That is actually going to be level 1-3. So I'm actually going to, I think I'm actually going to cut this here. As you can see, we can go back into 1-2's menu and see all the collectibles that we did collect. Looks like we got everything in 1-2. So in the next episode of Pac-Man World Re-Pac, we are going to be taking on 1-3, Crazy Cannonade. I will see you then.